here are the Mayhews. That's George and Helen Mayhew. George Mayhew was born in actually England in 1905. The pretty mum and the vase are where they are. He was born in 1905. He moved to Muskegon in the 1920s, and then to Niles in 1932. He worked at Tyler Sales and Fixture Corporation in Muskegon, eventually moving with the company to Niles. Tyler Fixture Corporation became Tyler Refrigeration. And at one time, Tyler Refrigeration was not only a huge employer in the area, but they were the #1 maker of commercial refrigerators globally there. So he was vice president of the company and a treasurer of the company until his retirement in 1968. He was part of the board at Tyler. He was also part of the National Commercial Refrigeration Manufacturers Association. He was a vice president of Clark Credit. He was a member of the Exchange of Pickwick Club's charter members of that, too. Very involved in the Presbyterian Church in Niles. He was married to Helen Call. She was born in 1906. She was also a founding member of the Monday Reading Club, Niles Music Club. She was the church school secretary at the Niles Presbyterian Church as well. They had 3 children. Helen died in 1991. While we're here too, where the pretty mom is, I would like to highlight the Boydson family here as well. Kay and Walter Boydson. And Kay was actually, her maiden name was Penny. She was born in Colorado in 1897. She went to high school in Illinois. She actually graduated from the University of Wisconsin in 1920. She was married to Thomas Boydson in 21. They moved to the area in the early 1940s. Kay actually taught at one of the schools in the area at a time called Webster School. She was very interested in nature, specifically ferns, and she kind of became an expert in the field of ferns as well. She wrote many publications, she wrote a book, and she received many awards for her work in that field. Thomas Boydson was born in Indiana. He was actually in the Army during World War I, and he, again, came to the area with Kay in the 1940s. He died in 1988. But we can thank the Boydsons for Fernwood Botanical Gardens, still active today. The Fernwood property was originally their private residence. It was part of their country home as well. They purchased in 1941 the first 12.5 acres. It actually became a popular gathering place for Kay, people who love nature like Kay, like they did use it for some gathering space in that interest. In 1963, they sold the property to Lawrence and Mary Plim, Francis and Jenny's son and daughter-in-law. A year later, it was turned into a public space as well. It was incorporated as a nonprofit education center. Kay Boydson was its first director. She served in that position for 10 years. She continued some of the planting. She was that specialist in ferns. She continued her work even after it opened. They increased the size significantly over time, making space for like an arboretum, prairie restoration, gardens. There was a nature center constructed in the 70s. The Mary Plim Visitor Center opened in 1989. In it is the Kay Boydson Fern Conservatory, and you can still see that when you go in there today. She died a year before, so it's in memory of her. But obviously Fernwood is still very active in the community today, so we can thank them for Fernwood. That was their private residence. The people married next to them are her parents, George and Adelaide Tenney, too. They were part of that. They eventually came to the Niles area as well, and they were out in Buchanan for a time, but those are her parents. Okay, next we're going to go back down, and we're going to actually head toward the bell tower, the chime tower, too, and we're going to talk about that.